It's 1951's On the Riviera with best material. It's a birthday tribute to Papa Hemingway. Wednesday, only on AMC.
For over a decade, AMC Magazine has shared your passion for great movies. Now, every month, AMC Magazine brings you even closer to those timeless classics of yesterday and today, with more rare full-color photos and in-depth exclusive articles, plus a new expanded listing section that includes more detailed movie descriptions and an easy-to-read calendar of not-to-be-missed AMC programming. If you're a classic movie fan or know someone who is, order AMC Magazine today. It makes a great gift, and the card that comes with your order lets that special person know that a great classic movie experience is on its way. To order AMC Magazine, call toll-free 1-888-AMC-4700 or send a check or money order for $12.95 for 12 monthly issues to AMC Magazine, P.O. Box 469082, Escondido, California 92046. You can also order on our website at www.amctv.com. AMC Magazine, the insider's guide to classic Hollywood.
Over half the films made before 1950 have disintegrated.
AMC's 7th Annual Film Preservation Festival, coming in August. Unique vision. It's the difference between an ordinary director...
What's the matter with him? Is he blind?
...and a great one. Hitch had his mastery of the camera. Ford used the landscape like nobody else. Capra created characters his audience could feel for.
Tonight I'm going to tell you how I sinned and how I was saved.
Lucky for us movie lovers, they were generous with their vision. They share it every week on AMC's Director's Showcase, Wednesdays at 10. This classic story of good versus evil.
You scream and the kid will come home and find you in a pool of blood.
Gave good guy Frederick March the chance to prove William Wyler wrong.
How much longer?
And bad guy Humphrey Bogart a chance to return to his gangster roots.
You don't know me if you think I'm bluffing.
CYAFI named Bogey the greatest male star of the century.
You ain't learned yet who's running the show, have you? Now get out there and cook.
Don't miss The Desperate Hours. Wednesday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern on Director's Showcase. She claimed it was the best script she'd ever read. Find out why 20 years later this movie still has feminists cheering on the next AMC Behind the Screen. This Sunday at 7:30 Eastern. A little boy discovers that Martians have taken over his town and brainwashed his parents in the sci-fi cult classic Invaders from Mars, starring Jimmy Hunt. Next.
Continuing our Tuesday movies, I think you'll agree that there is something really special about the movies we saw when we were young, you know. The movie we are about to see is one that's bound to be remembered fondly by those of you who saw it for the first time as children when it was released in 1953. It was different from most of the movies we saw back then because the whole thing was told from the perspective of a young boy. 13-year-old Jimmy Hunt was the star of the film. And the story about invaders from Mars held young audiences captive like few films before it. Waking up in the middle of the night, the boy sees this spaceship, see? Well, his dad goes to check it out. You know what's going to happen. His dad comes back in a trance. His mother's next. And the neighbor. He keeps trying to get someone to help him. No one will even believe him. Well, you know what young theater goers all across the country did. They sat wide-eyed, wondering what would happen next, wondering what would they do if that ever happened to them. Well, over the years, some changes were made to the original film. The British release was given a different ending, and somewhere along the way, an independent distributor bought the rights to it and thought he might make some improvements. But those of you who remember will have no trouble recognizing the entrance to the Martian maze and what happened there. Wait till you see it. Here's Jimmy Hunt with Helena Carter, Arthur Franz, Leif Erikson, Invaders from Mars. Young Jimmy Hunt was a familiar face to audiences by the time he appeared in Invaders from Mars. He had been making movies from the mid-40s and had been seen in a wonderful film called Sorry Wrong Number, and another wonderful film, Cheaper by the Dozen, and its sequel, Bells on Their Toes. Other than his part in this one, his biggest part probably was as Joel McRae's son in The Lone Hand, which was also released in 1953, same year this one came out. He retired from making movies soon after that, but was invited to make a comeback in 1986 when Invaders from Mars was remade. At that time, he was the police chief searching for David's father. And the script paid a small tribute to his earlier role when his character walks over a hill and looking out into the distance says, "I haven't been here in 40 years." For Jimmy Hunt, that only missed the actual truth by 7 years. Now watch this.
Tonight on AMC, John Wayne lives it up on an idyllic Pacific island in John Ford's breezy roughhouse comedy, Donovan's Reef. Then on Hollywood Reel to Reel, Hidden Hollywood 2 unlocks the Fox studio vaults to unearth some rare musical outtakes. And on the Reel to Reel feature, Danny Kaye cuts loose in a dual role in the classic Fox musical comedy, On the Riviera. That's all tonight on AMC. Behind every movie, there are hundreds of stories.
There was a dark side to her.
He was always toying with cocaine.
It's not something you talked about.
And we can't resist a good story. That's why AMC brings you Hollywood Reel to Reel, a weekly pairing of a documentary
He got the kicked out of him as a kid.
and a movie. It's your chance to step inside classic Hollywood and experience both sides of the movie. Tonight at 10 on Hollywood Reel to Reel.
Pretty big blockbuster idea, huh?
Next time on Hollywood Reel to Reel, it's the place where Henry Fonda didn't kiss the girl and golden-haired beauty Betty Grable wasn't all smiles. It's Hidden Hollywood 2, more treasures from the 20th Century Fox vaults. Then, after you see the Danny Kaye the director didn't want you to see, it's 1951's On the Riviera with the rest of Kaye at his over-the-top best. Hidden Hollywood 2 and On the Riviera. Tonight at 10 Eastern, only on AMC's Hollywood Reel to Reel.
Good.
He's not only the father of 20th century literature, he also gave Hollywood some of its best material. It's a birthday tribute to Papa Hemingway. Wednesday, only on AMC.
That's the difference between you people and us, I guess. We don't hit the little guy. We believe in fair play and all that sort of thing.
Icon, legend, or just plain movie star. Through the years, John Wayne's been a lot of things to a lot of people, but he's never been a day of the week, till now.
From now on, consider Wednesday to be Wayne's Day.
I like the sound of the word.
Dennis Quaid hosts a different Duke picture every John Wayne's Day at 8.
It's one of those words that makes me tight in the throat.
Unique vision. It's the difference between an ordinary director
What's the matter with him? Is he blind?
and a great one. Hitch had his mastery of the camera. Ford used the landscape like nobody else. Capra created characters his audience could feel for.
Tonight I'm going to tell you how I sinned and how I was saved.
Lucky for us movie lovers, they were generous with their vision. They share it every week on AMC's Director's Showcase, Wednesdays at 10. This classic story of good versus evil
You scream and the kid will come home and find you in a pool of blood.
gave good guy Frederick March the chance to prove William Wyler wrong,
How much longer?
and bad guy Humphrey Bogart a chance to return to his gangster roots.
You don't know me if you think I'm bluffing.
CYAFI named Bogey the greatest male star of the century.
You ain't learned yet who's running the show, have you? Now get out there and cook.
Don't miss The Desperate Hours. Wednesday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern on Director's Showcase.
Open.
She claimed it was the best script she'd ever read. Find out why 20 years later this movie still has feminists cheering on the next AMC Behind the Screen. This Sunday at 7:30 Eastern.
Fella ain't got a soul of his own, just little piece of a big soul.
AMC's 7th Annual Film Preservation Festival honors an American movie giant.
We'll be waiting for you, Marshal, at the OK Corral.
In a career that spanned over 50 years and 140 films, John Ford won the Oscar for Best Director 4 times. This year's festival presents over 30 of his works, including rarely seen silent classics, the newly preserved Academy Award winner, How Green Was My Valley, and the movie many critics call the finest Western ever made, The Searchers.
Stand aside, Martin. Ethan, no, you don't! Stand aside!
Imagine if you could never again see one of these classic films. Half the movies made before 1950 have already been lost. Join the effort to save our history by watching AMC's 7th Annual Film Preservation Festival. Coming in August, here on AMC. Ex-Navy man John Wayne retires to an idyllic Pacific island in John Ford's breezy roughhouse comedy, Donovan's Reef, co-starring Lee Marvin. Next. The following is brought to you by Lincoln, American luxury.
Remember that whole back to basics movement? Neither do we. Lincoln Town Car.
John Wayne was there when director John Ford said goodbye to one of the true loves of his life. Her name was Arena, a white-masted sailing yacht that was majestic in every sense of the word. Ford's wife, Mary, estimated that they spent at least half their married life on board the Arena, named for the people who live on the islands off the coast of Galway. The boat had 2 fireplaces, several bathrooms, and a master bedroom big enough for a 4-poster bed. John Ford had the roof of the deck house raised so that his best friend, John Wayne, wouldn't hit his head on it when he went downstairs, or below decks, I guess you'd have to say. The Arena had not only been part of John Ford's life, she also played a small part in the history of our country. Before World War II started, Ford performed an important service to the United States. He sailed the Arena off the coast of Baja, California, keeping an eye on certain shrimp boats that were out there, which were known to be captained by Japanese naval officers. He reported his findings to Captain Wild Bill Donovan, who headed up what would later become the Office of Strategic Services, or the OSS. Ford continued his intelligence gathering on his many sailings to Hawaii. In fact, he made repeated reports about the vulnerability of Pearl Harbor to Japanese attack. This was before December 7th. Well, 20 years later, John Ford had cancer. He agreed to make Donovan's Reef because he could take his family to live one more time on his beloved yacht in Hawaii, surrounded by all of his best friends. As soon as filming was finished, his most prized possession was sold as a tourist boat. John Ford never returned to Hawaii again. Here are John Wayne and Lee Marvin and Donovan's Reef.